drinking wouldn't have allowed me to explore this other area of me and kind of was keeping me at this level. Like drinking, when you're drinking a lot, never elevates you. It never progresses you forward. All it does is just keep you here. Keeps you here. You know, you never have heard anybody ever say that I am really glad I started drinking again. Nobody's ever said that because there's no reason to be glad if you've stopped and you've seen the positive aspects that drinking has made towards your life being improved in every way, shape, or form. It's like there's no reason to look back, and that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm really not even like, oh, I'm 100 days sober. I hope I can make it 100 more. I'm almost like drinking isn't even a thing for me anymore. I don't drink, and life has gotten so much better without drinking in every way. So I know a lot of people hit me up on Twitter about being sober. I know a lot of people always ask me questions about it. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. I want to form a place where people can get together and talk about issues with addiction. It doesn't have to be limited to alcohol. It can be any other addiction. I know there's every addiction out there. And even if you're having a hard time in life with depression, if you're having a hard time in life with your family, with work, anything, I know that everybody needs somebody to talk to, and not everybody has somebody to talk to. So I'm going to use Ruin Your Day as a platform for that. Every week on Wednesdays, I haven't decided a time yet, probably around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to have Ruin Your Day live for an hour. And basically what's going to be happening is the chat is going to be live, and that's going to be used as the floor for everybody to talk. I might be on a video feed answering questions to the chat. I might pull up some music that Ruin Your Day made to play. I might play some video in the background. It's going to be sort of a free-form vehicle type of feed. There's not going to be really a set thing that we're doing. The only thing that I want to go on is I want people to feel like it's a safe place to come into and talk and vent, talk to other people, maybe give advice. I'll be in there if anybody wants to ask any questions about being sober. I can give whatever advice I can for that. And yeah, essentially, I just think there needs to be a place like that. I think AA works really well for a lot of people because it's a community. It's a strong-knit community. You have a sponsor that holds you accountable for not drinking. You have other people that are going through the same thing as you. You realize there's a whole world out there of people that just don't drink. And that's rare these days, honestly. So I want there to be a place like that on Ruin Your Day that's doesn't have to be just limited to alcohol. It could be anything. You know, like my parents went through some heart problems this year, and that really devastated me. So, you know, I needed somebody to talk to about that. My ex-girlfriend's dog that I really love got cancer. My close friend just had cancer. So it's been tough for me as well this year, and I'm really thankful that I've had Ruin Your Day to talk to you guys about battle rap and forget about the troubles in my life, but I want to give back, and I want to create a platform where we can all come together and sort of be each other's shoulder to lean on every now and then. So just wanted to make this video to talk about me getting sober, my experience with it. Honestly, to wrap this up, being sober is like probably the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. Me breaking up with my ex-girlfriend that I love to this day has been the best thing that's ever happened to me too as well. It's really like jump-started me to make big improvements in my life that I'm really proud of. And yeah, I mean, I think anybody out there that's struggling with addiction, the first question you need to ask for yourself if you're thinking that you might have a drug problem, alcohol problem, any sort of problem is, if I'm asking myself if I have a problem, I might have a problem. Do you want to take the next step to solving it? Do you want to get clean? Do you want to get sober? And all I can say is being sober is amazing. It's great. I would never trade it for anything. It works really well for me. Other people can drink responsibly. I'm not one of those people. I can't drink responsibly at all. So, yeah, guys, I just want to thank you all for helping me through my year of sobriety. You guys really made a huge difference in my life. I want to thank everybody out there that supported Ruin Your Day, all the patrons, all the people that did a watch episode, all the guests, all the people that tuned in for watch, everybody that bought merch, everybody that bought music. It means the world to me. So thank you guys. Hello everyone, welcome to Ruin an Hour, a safe place to talk about everything from anxiety, depression, sobriety, balance, and life. My name is Kyle Gray. I am the host of this show. We are live twice a week, Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Hope everybody calls their mom today, Zooms them, or if they're lucky enough to be close enough to where they can physically see them, go see them. Practice social distance, stay 6 feet apart, or if you don't want to do that, just give her a hug. Yeah, we're all blessed to have our moms in our lives, so definitely let them know that. And this is a day of practicing gratitude towards the most important woman in our lives. How's it going, Danny? I want to just give a big congrats to Francisco Romo for being sober for almost 2 years. I myself am almost sober for 2 years. I think it's a year and 9 months now, because I'll be 2 years sober in July, so I think it's 10 months, but who's counting? So congrats, my friend. Gotta apologize, guys. I'm gonna be eating on camera because I woke up this morning and got on a Zoom call with my mother, and I haven't had time to do anything. So yeah, much apologies. But what do you guys want to do today? Do you guys want to watch some videos from School of Life? Do you guys want to talk about anything? Rebel just went to see my mom's grave. She passed away last year from cancer. Rebel, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Really sorry. My condolences. RIP to your mother. That's really good that you went to see her grave. How'd you feel when you go there? Did you feel good? Did you feel like a connection? How'd that make you feel? Oh, damn, Philippe. Well, congrats on the birthday, man. Happy birthday to you. That's amazing, bro. Marcus, I appreciate it. I really was glad that Pat had me on and he was open to discussing those things. That was cool. That was really cool for me. I don't know when that's dropping. Should be dropping maybe today or tomorrow. We'll see. But huge fan of Pat as a human being and as an artist, so I was more than flattered to be on his show. So yeah, it was good. It was good, guys. So yeah, above all, I hope everybody practices gratitude today for what they've been blessed with. And yeah, just going from there. Nicole, I appreciate that. I'm safe. Hope you're staying safe too. Yeah, I felt really good. I was with my brother and dad as well. Felt like she was there with us. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. That's why I was asked, because I wondered if you felt like that connection with your family there. That's incredible. Hell yeah. I'm from India, so I live with my mom. I did spend time with her learning to cook. Well, that's amazing, Balzar. That's incredible that you're still living with your mother. I mean, I know it's like a kind of a thought of the West to be like you shouldn't live with your parents after you reach a certain age, but I think people that live with their parents when they're older, that's like a blessing. It's not necessarily ideal in a lot of aspects, but you get to see them every day, and that's not something I can say. I live far away from my family, so I have to hop on a plane to see them. Luckily, with the advent of technology, I can just go on a computer and video chat with them in the second, but it's not the same as being there physically in person. Narcotics. My dad has relapsed earlier in the year when he was in the hospital a couple times, and he's back to 60 days sober, so I'm happy about that. Narcotics, that's incredible. 60 days is amazing. That's a pretty big time to be sober, because the sobriety is really tested within those first 30 days even. So 60 days is incredible, man. Congrats to that. I'm really happy for you. Derek, happy Mother's Day to any and all mothers in the chat. Enjoy your day. Hopefully everybody is having a great day. Derek, I'm doing really good. What's up, Mr. Karate? MKK, happy Mother's Day. Derek, don't mean to go off topic. Did you watch the fights last night? It was nice seeing live sports again. Great for sanity. Derek, yes, I did. I watched the fights. It was cool. Don't really know about my opinion about it, being on and everything, but it was nice for escape, and I feel like everybody probably could have used that too. Eric, today is a little bit rough. I hate the fact my son's mother is still using and is stuck in the street life that keeps her away from our son. She has no contact. Eric, yeah, that is really rough. I just want my son to know it's not his fault his mother isn't around. Yeah, well, you should, the that's like such a tricky thing to navigate, and like I'm definitely no expert on any parental guidance because I don't have children of my own, and I'm not an expert or have no experience in that field. But I think letting him know as much as he possibly can that his mother's choices are her own, and while they might not be what you and your son deem as correct, they are her choices, and it has nothing to do with your son and you, and that she's not there with your son because she doesn't love her son. She's not there because of something she's dealing with, and that is always going to be a difficult concept for children to grasp, if not impossible. So all you can do is really just be a strong parent to him, be loving, caring, and also like if your child feels bad about something, it's okay that your child will feel bad. You can say it's fine you're feeling this. It's okay to feel sad. A lot of times and this is kind of actually addressed in a school of life video about how everything comes from our childhood. And we can just watch that video because it's very pertinent to this, what we're talking about right now. About how we're all a sum of our childhood experiences. Let's pull it up. Boom. Where is it? Here we go. If you guys don't want to watch this video, just let me know. But I think this is super pertinent to what we're just talking about. Whoa, there's loud.
There is perhaps no greater priority in childhood than to acquire an education. It's in the early years that we have to push ourselves with special vigour to learn the lessons and acquire the experience that's going to help us to successfully manoeuvre around the pitfalls of adult life. By studying hard and intelligently, we'll have the best chance of avoiding a middle age of confusion and resignation, regret and sorrow. The clue to a successful adult life, we're repeatedly told, lies in childhood education. It's for this reason that we send weary children out into the world on dark winter mornings with full rucksacks in order to spend the day studying coordinate geometry and indefinite articles, the social impact of religious and economic changes under Edward VI, and the place of Aristotle's philosophy in Dante's Inferno. But there is one very striking detail to note in our approach, the one subject that almost certainly has the most to teach us in terms of its capacity to help us skirt adult dangers and guide us to fulfillment. The subject that far more than any other has the decisive power to liberate us, this subject is not taught in any school or college anywhere on the planet. A further irony is that this unstudied subject is one that we nevertheless live through every day of our early years. It's part of our palpable experience, unfolding all around us, as invisible as air and as hard to touch as time. The missing subject is, of course, our childhood itself. We can sum up its importance like this. Our chances of leading a fulfilled adult life depend overwhelmingly on our knowledge of and engagement with the nature of our own childhoods, because it is in this period that the dominant share of our adult identity is being moulded and our characteristic expectations and responses set. We will spend some 25,000 hours in the company of our parents by the age of 18, a span which ends up determining how we think of relationships and of sex, how we approach work, ambition and success, what we think of ourselves, especially whether we can like or must abhor who we are, what we should assume of strangers and friends, and how much happiness we believe we deserve and could plausibly attain. More tragically, and without anyone necessarily having meant ill, our childhoods will have been, to put it nicely, complicated. The expectations that will have formed in those years about who we are, what relationships can be like, and what the world might want to give us will have been marked by a range of what could be termed distortions, departures from reality and an ideal of mental health and maturity. Something, or indeed many things, will have gone slightly wrong or developed in questionable directions.
Hell yeah, Eric. And also narcotic, also I get what you're saying about the stigma behind learning disabilities and growing up with that and having an insecurity. Yeah, stigmas are something, and this is kind of ingrained into what we're talking about, is that children are so receptive to everything around them that it's not like the traumas that most of us suffered in our childhood, our parents meant them to be traumas, or our teachers meant them to be traumas. They were doing the best with what they had at the time. And I'm sure that if I'm a parent, I'm going to make mistakes as well. But the thing is, it's like stigmas, especially with like learning disabilities, it's really hard to like let a child know that it's okay that you're different and that your learning curve is different than the others, because then immediately children are a thing of comparison. They compare themselves to every other child and like, why am I not like everybody else? And then I'm not as good, you know? And a lot of those learning disabilities are actually an advantage, you know? Like being on the spectrum is kind of an advantage, to be honest. So yeah. Ryan, hey there, Avo. I just had my 39th birthday on Thursday, and I'm recovering meth addict. I was on and off meth from 03-2013. I got clean and sober from meth October 5th, 2013, and haven't touched it since. Ryan, congrats on that. That's enormous, man. So you're 7 years sober from meth, dude. That's big. That's huge. That's monumental, man. You should feel very good about yourself.
A range of what could be termed distortions, departures from reality and an ideal of mental health and maturity. Something, or indeed many things, will have gone slightly wrong or developed in questionable directions, leaving us in areas less than we might have been and more scared and cowed than is practical. We may, for example, have picked up a sense that being sexual was incompatible with being a good person, or that we had to lie about our interests in order to be loved. We could have acquired an impression that succeeding would incite the rivalry of a parent, or that we would need always to be funny and light-hearted so as to buoy up a depressive adult we adored but feared for. From our experiences, we will then acquire expectations or internal scripts and patterns of behavior that we play out unknowingly across adulthood. Certain key people didn't take us seriously back then. Now we tend to believe, but don't notice ourselves believing, that no one can. We needed to try and fix an adult on whom we depended. Now we're drawn, but don't realize we're drawn, to rescuing all those that we love. We admired a parent who didn't much care about us.
Being codependent right there.
Now we're drawn, but don't realize we're drawn, to rescuing all those that we love. We admired a parent who didn't much care about us. Now we repeatedly, but unconsciously, throw ourselves at distant and indifferent candidates. One of the problems of our childhoods is that they are usually surrounded by a misleading implication that they might have been sane. What goes on in the kitchen and in the car, on holidays and in the bedroom, can seem beyond remark or
This video is called "The One Subject You Really Need to Study Your Own Childhood."
misleading.
But I really like that line. That's misleading thought that your childhood might be sane. And that's kind of honestly a hard thing for me to, and it's kind of interesting we're watching this on Mother's Day because it kind of questions parenting a little bit, but I don't really feel like it's questioning parenting from like parents did something wrong. It's just parenting is the most complex thing any of us can do, and it's crazy because it's something that almost every living creature does, but to the extent that human beings do it is so much further than any other being in the world does it, because we not only parent an adolescent from a physical standpoint of taking care of their immediate needs, we parent them from a psychological standpoint as well, of literally molding them into the human they are, and that's crazy. Sorry, Nigel, not going back to getting drunk, bro. Much better off this way. But I appreciate that you enjoyed me at some point in time. But yeah, let's keep watching.
One of the problems of our childhoods is that they are usually surrounded by a misleading implication that they might have been sane. What goes on in the kitchen and in the car, on holidays and in the bedroom, can seem beyond remark or reflection. For a long time, we have nothing to compare our life against. It's just reality in our eyes, rather than a very peculiar, desperately harmful version of it, filled with unique slants and outright dangers. For many years, it can seem almost normal that Dad lies.
Thank you, A+. I appreciate it, man. That's flattering.
Peculiar, desperately harmful version of it, filled with unique slants and outright dangers. For many years, it can seem almost normal that Dad lies slumped in his chair in quiet despair, that Mum is often crying, or that we've been labelled the unworthy one. It can seem normal that every challenge is a catastrophe, or that every hope is destroyed by cynicism. There's nothing to alert us to the oddity of a 7-year-old having to cheer up a parent because of the difficulties of her relationship with the other parent. Unfortunately, the last thing that the oddest parents will ever tell you is that they're odd. The most bizarre adults are most heavily invested in thinking of themselves and being known to others as normal. It's in the nature of madness to strive very hard not to be thought about. This drift towards unthinking normalization is compounded by children's natural urge to think well of their parents, even at the cost of looking after their own interest. It's always strangely preferable for a child to think of themselves as unworthy and deficient than to acknowledge their parent as unstable and unfair. The legacy of a difficult childhood, by which one really means a typical childhood, spreads into every corner of adult life. For decades, it can seem as though unhappiness and grief must be the norm. It may take until a person is deep into adulthood and might have messed up their career substantially or gone through a string of frustrating relationships that they may become able to think about the connection between what happened to them in the past and how they are living as grown-ups.
Wolf the Alf Dog, second Mother Day since she's passed. Man, I know this is probably a hard day for you, man, so if you want to talk about anything in the chat is open. Philip, even though this is a purely philosophical video, this still hits close to home as I still have to deal with the whole I'm worth less than others mindset that I've gotten from childhood. Yeah, man, that's an issue that a lot of people deal with. I mean, I deal with that all the time. You know, that's why I have pretty wild, extreme self-esteem issues. It's why I push myself really hard in a lot of aspects of life. It's because you set up like these crazy self-expectations for yourself. My self-expectations for me are higher than anybody that I put them against. You know, I judge myself more harshly than anybody, and that's something that I'm really trying to work on is judging myself as I would judge a acquaintance. Because oftentimes I can say I'm more harsh on myself than I am of anybody else, and that's because I have this low-lying fear of not being good enough for people. I don't feel like I'm good enough for any woman. I don't feel like I'm good enough as a friend. I don't feel like will ever be a good father. Like, you know, I'm saying these like they're common fears, you know, but it's not something I feel on the surface. It's something that's underneath everything. So, you know, obviously I feel like I would be a great father. I feel like I would make a great partner, but there's this deep underlying fear that makes me have this super high expectation of myself, as in always being a good person, always like pushing myself hard in my workouts, always eating healthy, always being good to other people. Those are great things to aspire to. But sometimes when I don't meet those expectations, I really like get hard on myself over it, and being kind to yourself is the best way to see yourself through that. So definitely echo your sentiments on that tip.
A person is deep into adulthood and might have messed up their career substantially or gone through a string of frustrating relationships, that they may become able to think about the connection between what happened to them in the past and how they are living as grown-ups. Slowly, they may see the debt that their habit of trying to fix their adult lovers owes to a dynamic with an alcoholic mother, Or over many hours of discussion, they may realize that there need be no conflict between being successful and being a good person, contrary to what a disappointed father had once imputed. The focus of present education lies in understanding the outer world. The system tells us that we will finally and optimally have succeeded when we grasp the laws of the universe and the history of humanity. But in order properly to thrive, we will also need to know something far closer to home. Without a proper understanding of childhood, it won't matter how many fortunes we've made, how stellar our reputation, or outwardly cheerful our families. We will be doomed to founder on the rocks of our own psychological complexities. We will probably be sunk by anxiety, a lack of trust, some kind of dread, paranoia, rage, and self-loathing, those widespread legacies of misunderstood childhoods. Well-meaning people sometimes wonder, with considerable hope, if Sigmund Freud has not, after all, by now, been proved wrong. The tricky and humiliating answer is that no, he never actually will be, in the substance of his insight. Freud's eternal contribution has been to alert us to the many ways in which adult emotional lives sit on top of childhood experiences, and how we are made...
Adult emotional lives sit on top of childhood experiences. So your childhood experiences are the foundation of who you are. So if you have some sort of trauma or something that you're dealing with childhood, and oftentimes, according to this video, you don't even know it's there because a lot of people just block things out, myself included. I don't even know if I have any childhood trauma. I would say that my childhood was really good, but there is trauma exists in many different ways, shapes, and forms. It's not always just the immediate, oh, you're physically abused, oh, your parents were divorced at an early age, they ignored you, they didn't give you love. It's not always that. It's not always there's an obvious thing. There could be something else there. And if your childhood rests on that and then everything else rests on top of it, basically you're working with a faulty foundation.
The answer is that no, he never actually will be, in the substance of his insight. Freud's eternal contribution has been to alert us to the many ways in which adult emotional lives sit on top of childhood experiences, and how we are made sick by not knowing our own histories. In a saner world, we would be left in no doubt, and even partially alerted while we were living through them, that our childhoods hold the secrets to our identities. We would know that the one subject we need to excel at above all is one not yet flagged up by the school system, the subject called My Childhood. And the sign that we have graduated in this topic with honours is when at last we can know and think non-defensively about how we are, in small ways and large, a little bit mad, and what exactly in the distant past might have made us so.
Our book.
But yeah, wanted to share that. It's pretty good video. But yeah, congrats Rashid on your parents still being together. That's really dope. Nikolai, if you think about it, all of us have childhood traumas. There's always one thing at least that scarred us for life that we may not be able to get past. I agree with that. I think all of us have had something, whether it's super apparent and glaring or really small and forgettable. There's always something that shaped us at an early age. But yeah, go check out School of Life. Love this channel. Absolutely incredible. They also have a store you can order books from. So I ordered a bunch of books from there. It's really incredible. But yeah. Let me get the chat back up. Boom. I always vowed never to be like my dad, but he's a good guy. Should I open up more to my dad? Yes, I would say you should. Of course you should open up more to your dad. Rashid, I mean, if you have actually some resentments towards your father, I think you would actually benefit greatly from actually vocalizing those to him. Not in a way to attack him or bring him down or be like you should feel griefs, sorrow or resentment towards yourself for the things that happened in my childhood. I think just having an open, honest conversation with him is would be fantastic, not only for himself, but probably even more so for yourself, to come to terms with things that happened in your childhood as a result of his parenting. And I think that would be an awesome communication thing to do, like just a awesome platform to give you and your father. I studied gender studies, and there was this one subject we had to do an interview with your father about their life. I think you should try it, Rashid. Yeah, that's a really good exercise too. Is just talking to him about his life and what happened in his life. I think that would be really insightful because, honestly, the growth of parenting from not only our parents but our parents' generation has been so exponential in terms of everything. It's like my parents came from a very like cold parenting where like abuse was normalized, and things that we would never deal with not never deal with today, but things that we like know today are wrong and to not stand behind were looked away from, and it was passive. So the parenting of the generations has changed, and also just like not only that, but our concept of mental health, depression, everything involved in also childhood and how childhood molds us so much, and being kind. All that has exponentially grown from our parents and our parents' generation. So it's definitely interesting to talk to your father about what he went through, because that gives you some insight onto his actions, helps you understand what went on a lot better. Yeah, my father never knew his father had two moms. I know where the man's coming from. He didn't have the same opportunities back then that I do. Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game, for sure. Narcotics. The funny thing is I don't have negative memories about my dad as a father, but he expressed regret about feeling like he could have been there more for me in some aspects. But we have a good relationship. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's that's always interesting to hear about regret from a parent, because parents have super high expectations of themselves too, because they want to be absolutely perfect to their child, because they love their child more than anything. So they see any sort of shortcoming or any fault actually in their child, excuse me, not a fault, but like if their child is going through something like an issue, like for example, like I'm an addict. And I know there's a big portion of me being an addict that my parents probably think they take responsibility for. And while my addictions probably were contributed to by my upbringing, and some might have been partial the cause, I still take accountability for that as well. So it's a group joint effort. It's the sum of me. It's the sum of how I was raised, because it's not like when you find out that there was something that went on in your childhood by a parent that it's like it's your fault. It's only your fault. If you didn't raise me like this, I wouldn't be like this. It's not the case. It's more so just like I understand where it comes from now, and I can learn how to navigate it and deal with it. And it's impossible to raise somebody perfect. It like honestly is. It's like physically impossible. We are not robots. We are humans. We are fallible. We make mistakes. And that is always going to be the case, no matter what. Even today, it's like I'm not perfect, and I never will be perfect. I will make mistakes every single day. I will fuck up constantly. I'm going to fuck up terribly in the future, just as I fucked up terribly in the past. But with the knowledge I gain from every single mistake, it takes me better to a better path of navigating those mistakes when they arise in the future. So this isn't a conversation to really out parents for not being perfect. It's one to really examine your childhood and what you went through, so you can find the roots of what you're going through currently. Yeah, like my father made Salah today for the first time with me, and seeing him wanting to fix his faults, and that makes me want to change as well. True what you're saying about misconception about upbringing. Very true. There's kids who have a perfect upbringing who end up dying of overdose. Sometimes adversity is good for a child. I agree, Marcus. Definitely agree about that. We are all connected. Me holding myself accountable and doing my best. Also, positivity benefits others. D.I. Gamble, of course, man. Of course. Accountability is a huge thing. Gratitude is a huge thing. JB, my mind's pretty good, man. I'm in a very good mental headspace. I've been better and better and better throughout this quarantine. I think this quarantine has done absolutely incredible things for me in terms of my mentality, my spirituality, health, mental and physical. I think everything has been incredible, to be real with you guys. Like having time to really sit with myself and do everything for me, and really just like create every day the best I can and be as full of growth as I possibly can be, given this opportunity, which we don't get all the time, to really not be just slaughtered with not only work, stress, bills, but also the numbness of a job, the numbness of responsibilities, of priorities, that numbs you out to what you're really feeling underneath. And you view things such as work as an escape. So I view this quarantine as being absolutely incredible and a good chance for you to use it as a vehicle to grow in some way, shape, and form. Life is all about challenges and learning how to take the pain and learn from it. Pick yourself back up, make a mistake, grow from it. You don't level up from not having adversity in life. You level up by taking things away and having adversity. Nobody ever got better by, like, did anybody ever grow as a person by winning the lottery? I don't think so. I think it might have made your life a little bit more pleasurable to some degree, but more money, more problems, huh? My stepfather raised me since I was months old. I'm 32 now, and my sperm donor wants to get to know me. I don't know how to feel about it, especially since I have no feelings towards him. LJ, I mean, yeah, I don't really know. That's up to you, really. If you want to get to know that person, that's fine. Because it's like you biological are that person. But if you don't, that's very understandable too, because he wasn't in your life, you know. Ryan, thank you, my man. D.I. Gamble, big love and respect. You still appreciate it. I appreciate that, my friend. That's the mentality right there, Avo. See every day as an opportunity to get it right and grow and evolve. Yep, exactly. That's all you can do, is really just look at every single day, minute, anything as, hey, how will I learn from this? You know, especially when you're going through stuff that's rough, you know, because it's like, at the end of the day, this quarantine isn't easy. It's not easy for anybody to be away from their family, friends, their life, their job, to be financially under a good amount of stress. It's not ideal. I would have never looked at this and be like, okay, in 2020, you're going to spend the start of the year staying inside. You're not going to go to the gym. You're not going to film any battles. You're not going to see any of the people you care about. Yeah, I would never look at that and be like, oh, that's going to kick ass for me. That's going to be a fun time. But the more this came about and the more I got into it, I just realized that this is a perfect time for that. It's like a perfect time for me to read as much as possible, to really push myself to grow as much as possible as a human being, to look at like what I've been really depressed about for the past 2 years and really just sit with that depression and learn that the universe puts you in whatever place the universe needs you at that moment. So you are where you need to be, no matter where that is. If that's in a place of pain, you need to learn something from that pain and grow from that pain. If that's in a place of opportunity, great, take that opportunity, run with it, you know? I believe the universe is a higher version of your consciousness. I think that's a great way to look at the universe, and that the universe is working for you, not against you. I think having that mindset was really important for me too during all this, is that the universe is doing things for me. It's not doing things against me. I'm not victimized by Earth. I'm not victimized by my situation. I'm not victimized by any of these things. I'm utilizing these shortcomings and these hard things that I'm going through to create me, to learn from it and be a better person. So. The forces that are for me are greater than the forces that are against me. Yeah, it's a good quote. You're spot on with growing. I believe once you're uncomfortable in life that you're growing. Once you get comfortable, you start to relax and place less emphasis on things in life. I completely agree. Uncomfortability brings growth. 100%. I believe that full-heartedly. That the more uncomfortable you are, the more you're going to grow. You learn things by taking things away. That's something that I really, it's funny that I learned so much from this dude. Yeah, I did direct that Boldy James video, Mr. White. I don't know how much directing that was. It was basically like Alchemist was like, hey, can you shoot a music video for me and this guy Boldy? And I was like, sure, just come over to my house and we'll shoot it in this parking lot across the street. I shot it really fast, edited it that night, sent it to him, and Alchemist is the man. I love that guy. The guy's such a supportive, amazing person to me. He'll hit me up before battle events, wishing me luck. Like, that is crazy. Like, that's when, like, life really gets put in perspective. It's like this, one of the greatest hip-hop producers of all time is hitting me up before I do an event, wishing me luck with what I'm doing with my art form. And this guy is one of the most important people in this genre that I love. And it's crazy. It's just life. Life comes at you fast, huh? So, I just got a CBD oil brand deal recently, formed part of an A&R agency, got my song played by a big DJ yesterday, and possibly getting $5K a week for live streaming shows. I'm feeling better now. Rashid, you seem like you're in an amazing place, dog. Congrats on that. That's really, really amazing. That's incredible. Congrats, dude. 5K a week, man. Whew. What's that like? But yeah, life is all about being presented with adversity and learning to go through that, leveling up. Pain's good. Touch fire? Ooh, don't do that, it burns. It's like a massive talent agency, any rappers wanting the same opportunity, just hit me up. Damn, Rashid. Okay, well, fuck. That's some good advice right there. Hit Geechee up. Geechee could use 5K a week. My whole audience, yeah. Word. My favorite artist-producer combo? Oh, man, I don't know. I have no idea. That's a hard one. Primo and Guru. That's probably my favorite. I'm trying to think of something else. Yeah, I don't know. No idea. I know I'm like forgetting a big one right now. But I can't think of very many, like, I mean Mobb Deep, Alchemist, of course. RZA, Wu-Tang. Who produces Michael Made It and Ray Remember them? DJ Mustard and RJ. Mustard and YG. Ninth Wonder, Slug and Ant. Slug and Ant is really good too. I love Atmosphere to this day. ID and Abilities is a good one also. Little Brother's dope. Little Brother's really dope. I mean, shamefully, I'll say Vinny Paz and Stoop, but, you know, that's like a guilty pleasure of mine. Jedi Mind Tricks. Redman, Eric Sermon, that one's fire too. Eric Sermon is fire. And Redman rapping on his beats is fire. That's great. That's really good. Top 5 rappers dead or alive, man. You guys are asking me some hardcore hip hop questions today. Shit, I don't know. Black Thought is definitely like up there. Black Thought, best rappers. Fuck, I don't know. Black Thought, Drake, uh, Lux. I'd put Lux in that category 100%. I don't know, man. Nas, maybe. You know, I've never been a big Nas fan, to be honest with you, but I realize how incredible he is. Nas and Prodigy. I'll put Prodigy up there. Why not? That's just my favorites. My personal favorites, though, currently are just all like super West Coast guys like RJ and YG. All I listen to is pretty much like West Coast gangster rap in terms of hip hop. I actually don't listen to a lot of hip hop guys like anymore. I just listen to like the stuff we're putting out, and I listen to a lot of crazy folk music and like electro music too. Freddie Gibbs is dope. Freddie Gibbs is really, really dope. Jay Worthy. Yep, there's some dope people out there, that's for sure. Yeah, I like folk rock too. Been listening to this group called Night Moves a lot. If you guys are down, check them out. Like my favorite thing to do now is, and like what I look forward to the most of my day. So days are really busy actually, which is like crazy for this quarantine. But like I've literally not, like I woke up today and it's like I got on a Zoom call with my family. Then I'm doing this stream. Then I'm gonna get off and finish editing something, and then I'm gonna go work out, and then I'm gonna do round for round. And I still have to get the rounds that I'm doing today. I don't have any of the rounds for Ill Will and Chilla Jones, so I gotta make those up. And then maybe I'll just do frack and surf today. Maybe I'll leave Ill Will and Chilla Jones for another day. But yeah, the thing I look forward to the most is after I'm done with everything that I can read. I like Riscop too, and Thundercat. Melt. I'll check them out. I've never heard of them. But reading and listening to really good music is like one of my favorite things to do now. I just got the Southern Reach trilogy books, and I'm like halfway through Annihilation. And those books are so cool. I love them. Just got into reading fiction actually pretty recently. So, but yeah, like reading with some like headphones on and some like good like kind of instrumental-ish type of music, I really love. Teresa's is my favorite folk band. I'll check them out as well. Scotty, happy Mother's Day from Avocado. Yep. If you guys haven't, go check me and my mom watching Carter Deems versus Bonnie Godiva on the channel. Watch that with her. But yeah, guys, I'm going to cut that off here. Hope everybody has a great Mother's Day. Stay safe. Stay inside unless you have to. And yeah, peace and love. I will see you guys later today at Round for Round. And I will probably be doing Frack versus Sioux Surf, to be honest, because I have all Fracks rounds, but I don't have Surfs. And then I need Ill Will and Chilla Jones rounds for that other one. But yeah, guys, stay safe. Peace out.